and welcome to Reading with Miss Momo. I'm so glad you could join me today. Some of my friends in first grade at O'Bannon Elementary School asked me to read this book today, and it's a really good book. It has lots of good lessons, and it teaches us to read. I hope that you enjoy it. Sit up straight and tall, take a deep breath, and just listen to this wonderful story and enjoy it, okay? Join me now as we read. How Rocket Learned to Read by Tad Hills. Rocket loved to play. He loved to chase leaves and chew sticks. He loved to listen to the birds sing. Isn't Rocket a cute dog? He loves to do lots of things. Every fall morning after chasing leaves, Rocket would lie down in his favorite spot under his favorite tree. There he'd sniff the neighborhood smells and settle in for a good nap. And here he is under the tree having a nap. But one day, a little yellow bird startled Rocket. "Aha! My first student! Wonderful!" she sang. Rocket was confused. "Student? I'm not a..." "But if I am your teacher," the bird interrupted, "then you must be my student." Rocket found it hard to argue with this bird. Here's the little yellow bird, isn't it cute? And the little yellow bird says that Rocket is the first student. The first student, the first person to come to learn. And the little yellow bird wants to teach Rocket. "I'm so glad you saw my sign," the bird chirped. "Oh yes, I see it," Rocket said, "but I don't know how to read." "Can't read? Fantastic!" She waved a wing. "Welcome to my classroom." "But I just came here to take a nap," Rocket said. No, there'll be no taking naps in class," declared the bird. "Except, of course, during nap time." "Well then, I can take a nap over here," said Rocket. "I have had a very busy morning." "No worry, I'll be around every day," chirped the bird. "Until the weather turns." And there's the bird, and the sign says, "Class starts today." Rocket went away somewhere else to take a nap. Rocket was not interested in trying to learn from that bird. As Rocket breathed in the crisp air, the little yellow bird hung her banner. "Ah, the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet," she marveled, "where it all begins." And here's the alphabet from A to Z. She hung on the trees, her little banner of the alphabet. I bet in your classroom you have a banner or signs with the alphabet on them. And that was in her classroom. Opening up a book, the bird began to read. She sang out the story of an unlucky dog named Buster who had lost his favorite bone. A cool breeze carried her lively voice across the yard. At first, Rocket was disturbed. Look at his expression. He is very disturbed by this little bird up in the tree reading a book out loud about a dog named Buster. That sounds like a good story to me, but Rocket didn't really want to hear that story. But before long, he found himself captivated. To Rocket, the story was as delicious as the earthy smells of fall. It was as exciting as chasing leaves. He closed his eyes and listened to every word. "As Buster dug and dug under the lilac bush," the bird read, "he felt something familiar." Rocket waited. Was it a bone? He wondered. Silence. "Was it a bone?" he called to the bird. More silence. "Was it a bone?" Rocket hollered. Suddenly he was rushing to the tree. "Well, was it?" But the little yellow bird was gone. The book was there, but the bird was gone. And he was looking for the bird because he wanted to know what the dog found. The next morning, Rocket arrived early. There's the book still there. At last the little yellow bird appeared. "Hello, how wonderful to see you in class," she chirped. "I can tell by your waggy tail that you're well rested." "I'd like to hear the end of the story, please," said Robert. "That sounds like a fine way to start the day," chirped the little bird. She gave Rocket a name tag and began to read. And there's his name tag saying Rocket. She's on a rock and she's reading to him. And look, he's listening very intently this time. The word of the day is dog. Every day, Rocket returned to the little yellow bird's classroom. In the morning, the bird taught him a new letter until he had learned all of the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet. Together they sang out the sounds that each letter makes and spelled the sounds they heard around them. With a G and many R's, they spelled Mr. Barker's grrr. And there's Mr. Barker growling, and they spelled out grrr. They spelled out the sound of the wind, which was growing colder by the day. Whoosh! Soon they were spelling out words like F-A-L-L, fall, for the gusty time of year, and R-E-D, red, for the color of the leaves. And each afternoon, the bird read a story. She read stories about dogs and birds. She read about leaves changing colors and about birds flying south for the winter. So she read a lot of different stories, and they would spell all kind of words that they heard around them or saw around them. Isn't that fun to spell words that are around you as you think of things and see things? Then one day the weather turned and the little letter banner disappeared. "See you again in the glorious spring," the bird sang. And as she flew into the wintry sky, she called, "Don't forget, words are built one letter at a time." And there she goes, because fall is coming, it's going to be winter, and she's going to see him in the spring. And there he is watching, wondering what on earth is going to happen now. The days grew shorter, the leaves fell from the trees, the grass became crunchy. Soon Rocket's classroom disappeared under the snow. He remembered the little yellow bird's alphabet and he practiced his letters. He was running and making A, B, and C in the snow. Wasn't he smart? Even though his teacher wasn't there, he was still practicing. Did you know that even if you're not at school, or even if your teacher is not there, that you can still practice on your schoolwork and you can still practice your spelling words and reading all the time? Rocket thought about the bird's sweet chirp while he sounded out words like D-I-G, dig, and there he is digging, and W-I-N-D, wind, and look at the wind blowing him, and C-O-L-D, cold. It was very cold in the snow. He made new friends and spelled their names. Hello, E-M-M-A, Emma. Hi there, F-R-E-D, Fred. That's Emma and Fred. He spelled everything. S-U-N, sun. M-E-L-T, melt. He wanted the sun to melt that snow, because what was going to happen once the snow melted? He knew and he anticipated and was thinking about the good things that were going to happen once the weather changed, once spring comes. When Rocket spelled M-U-D, mud, he knew that spring, as it always does, had returned, and he spelled out mud with the dirt. Class starts tomorrow. The breeze blew warmer, the grass grew greener, and a sign appeared. And there are flowers everywhere, so we know it's spring, and class is going to start tomorrow. Wonder if the little yellow bird's going to be there. Do you think so? Early the next morning, Rocket rushed to his classroom As he waited, he spelled W-A-G, wag. And look at his tail wagging back and forth. He was excited and happy. Soon, the little yellow bird arrived. Aha! My star student, she sang. How wonderful to see you. I can tell by your waggy tail that you're ready for class. And there she is, sitting on his nose, so excited, and it says, welcome back, Rocket. She was excited to see Rocket again. And he was excited this time to see her. Together they began to read. They read stories about birds flying north in the spring. They read about picnics in the warm sun. They read about Buster, the lucky dog who found his bone under the lilac bush. So here she is sitting, reading, and look at all the books that they're reading together. And he is sitting very quietly, listening and looking at the words and trying to learn. That's what you need to do when you're in school. Sit still, listen, and try to learn just like he's doing. And when they were done, they read it again, and A-G-A-I-N again. They read again and again and again, sometimes the same books. It's fun to read books over and over, and it's fun to read, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a fun story, wasn't it? You know, reading really is a good thing. Reading takes you to new places. It makes you wonder about things. It's like really being in the story. If you just sit and listen quietly and imagine yourself in the story, you can go and do new things and go to new places. I love to read, and I love to read to you. And I am so delighted that you're watching my video today. I hope that you like and subscribe and share, because we love for everyone to read or listen to stories. It's a good thing. It takes you to good places. Until we meet again, smile and be happy, and read and listen to my videos on Reading with Ms. Momo. God bless.